Welcome to the show. I'm Dan Watson.
And I'm Paul Sloggett. Welcome to the Dirt.
Let's bring him straight in, ladies and gentlemen, for your viewing and audio pleasure. We bring into the room Mr. Akoni Kama. Nice. All set, ready to go snowmass.
Right, exactly, boys.
How's it going, mate?
Good, bro. Good. Just currently in Louisiana.
Louisiana, deep south.
Yeah.
Is that your home base as such these days?
No, I still live in Hawaii. I live on the Big Island. Been building a house with the help of my family and started a company out here in Louisiana. So I kind of go back and forth.
Fair enough. I don't suppose is it as nice in Louisiana as it looks in Hawaii? Because I tell you,
Yes,
some of the
it is. It's so nice.
Another visual joke that you won't get if you're listening on audio.
Exactly. No, it's not bad. I mean, look, Louisiana is awesome, but I like to be in the mountains or be in the ocean, so it's a little tougher here because it's pretty flat and swampy. But luckily, there's the Gulf of Mexico, and I get to go out spearfishing with some guys out here I hooked up with. So it's not bad.
Yeah, you're still getting your sea time then.
Yeah. Let's go out. We go out to the rigs, about 40 miles offshore.
I hear the fish are good and tasty down there. They've got a reputation for gumbo and all sorts down there.
Oh yeah. They got red snapper out in the Gulf. It's really good too. Making a lot of sushi.
Oh,
So,
crikey.
are you getting any riding in while you're down there?
Well, luckily I got a Trampa e-board, so yeah, I haven't been riding much lately due to I injured my ankle about a little over a year ago at a wakeboarding cable park, and I didn't take care of it. So yeah, it hasn't healed very well. So I'm actually now trying to heal it correctly, trying to strengthen it back up. So I've been having to kind of lay off, not ride as much, but it sucks. It's the rear foot, so all the weight's on the rear of that board, so it tends to stress out my ankle a lot when I start messing around.
That's unfortunate. It's
But
unfortunate.
I will say that the thing's pretty fucking awesome. I mean, this area is like, I'll go find grass parks and shit and just go rip around the park. Like, I found a park that's got like a natural grass half pipe. So that's actually pretty fun. It's like an endless snowboarding and just doing hot laps.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, I can ride it till I literally can't stand up till like my feet hurt.
That is the beauty of them, really. I mean, I didn't think we'd hit on the electrics this early on, but yeah, I mean, we're both completely converted.
Oh, I'm smitten. Absolutely smitten with mine. I've been out on it today.
Have you?
Yeah. Just went down the local woods. Got like 15 miles in on it.
Oh,
nice.
Days.
We're actually talking. I've been talking about possibly being over this in the UK this summer for a couple of weeks to go trip around with the Trampa team and go play. And then hopefully I'd like to time it during the event so I could go do some events.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the ATBA will have an event for us this year. I should imagine, as we said before, it would probably be at Bugsboarding, because that is pretty much the last remaining centre in the UK now.
Good thing you got an e-board so you can go ride other shit.
Well, yeah, that's it. I think the travelling with the e-boards can still be a little bit dodgy. There's a lad who's gone over to Vegas about a week ago, and he took all his batteries out and had ordered batteries and a charger to pick up in Vegas. But customs still took hold of his board. I don't know if he's even got it back yet, and he's been out there about a week now. Maybe because the electric components. I don't know the details. I should have to wait and find out when he gets back.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. But yeah, hopefully you can get your e-board in the pack when you come over, because
Well,
There's
I'm sure.
so much.
No,
I'm sure
I'm gonna
Ted's
just
not
get
everyone
one.
else.
I'm planning on grabbing some out of the shop to go ride. I'm not gonna lug it over.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably your best bet.
Well, too, like I want, like, I like the setup now, but what I think for me would be more fun would be having 4 smaller motors and
Mhm.
having all 4 wheels spin. So that's because it'd be more balanced in the air, and then it'd also be more balanced in sliding, because the wheels would all spin.
Yeah.
So I want to try that out while I'm over there and see if I can because they've told me that they have some set up. So I think it'd be more fun to ride something.
I've got a 4-wheel drive one.
Yeah,
and
without a shadow.
It's a spare, isn't it? Because you can't have belts front and back. I'd imagine.
I thought it was an OBD.
Was it?
Yeah.
I
don't know, but they definitely have got a 4-wheel drive set up there for sure. I haven't ridden it, but yeah. Oh, that'll be interesting. Keep us posted on your dates there, and we'll if you're over at the comp, then we'll definitely be seeing you there.
We'll warn the pubs.
I was trying to think. I've only met you twice in the flesh. One, you'd probably remember the events, but whether you'd remember meeting me or not is a different matter, because you meet a lot of people, don't you?
The events are a bit of a blur.
That's it, especially so long ago. So you came to visit XBP Priory in Red Hill many years ago, 2002, 2003, that time. And I think I sort of thought, hi, nice to meet you, sort of thing. That was basically it. But then the following years preceding that, I got more involved with Ride the Hill, as did Slogs and instructoring and stuff. And then I think the only other time our paths would have been the Big Freeze, the indoor bike arena or whatever it was at the time. But I assume that you've been over since to the UK since both of those.
I did come over once with the Crusty Demons of Dirt tour.
Right.
We performed in Ireland. I want to say Ireland, and then I think London, and then I think Scotland. No, I think we did 3 stops over there, if I remember right. That one's a huge blur.
Yeah. As it would be. I mean, they certainly got a reputation for being crazy.
It's all true, and a lot more than you might realize.
well, one of the viewer questions may well come on to one of that a bit later on. We won't get into those straight away. But yeah, I mean, Slogs, did you want to kick us off with any questions to?
I just want to know, where you started, what year you started, what you were riding, how you hooked up with people. I just want to see, because I've never met you before, and all I see is what I see on the screen normally. So
it's been a long time since I've been on the screen.
So I don't really know your history at all.
A genesis story.
Well, for me, it started in I want to say 95 or 96, because I think our first dirt duel was at Snow Valley, and that would have been 97 dirt duel. I think it was a 97 dirt duel. So probably end of 95, 96, somewhere in there, I started riding. And basically, I lived on the North Shore of Oahu, and I saw this kid go by with these Tonka truck looking tires on a skateboard, and my buddy I surf with, I was like, hey, we need to get that, because it's a perfect way to practice surfing. We could kick down the bike path and just slash the dirt berms, sort of just practice surfing on land. And we tracked it down, found a set of XT wheels, got them, and that's exactly what we're doing. And then one of my other buddies who rode motocross was like, dude, you got to take that shit up to the motocross track. We went up to the motocross track, and it was like, holy fuck. It was like, are you kidding me? We're just like, imagine, you know what I mean? You're just like, there's shit to ride everywhere. You're like, what the heck? And we started riding. We'd hike up on the weekdays because it was closed. and we would literally just go ride the motocross track. And yeah, we started wearing gear by every time we hurt something. So the first time I knocked myself out, I started wearing a helmet. You know, I get busted my ass. I started wearing compression pads. You know, we didn't, you know, we were just kind of going for it. And broke my ankle, and you know, so we were just kind of going for it, figuring it out. And then yeah, let's say that about sums up the beginning.
And then so would Earth, I remember you being back on Earthboard and MBS back in the day. I mean, you've pretty much ridden for almost all of the brands at some point, or other Ground Industries, MBS, Earthboard, Outback. Were they the three? Was that Outback the three wheelers?
Yeah. Well, I started out on XT wheels, and then from XT wheels, on XT wheels, I had my own board with Bareback Decks, the skateboard making company. So I was doing the XT wheels, and then I started riding the Outbacks as well, the 3-wheel boards. And then from Outback, I switched over to Earthboard, and then from Earthboard, I went to MBS, and then MBS, I went to Ground. And we had just come out with my pro board, and the company had some problems. So they ended up going under, and I was just riding at that point still. And yeah, now I've got here's the thing, guys. When I was sponsored riding, you know, I rode for companies. So I rode their products and I try to help design them. And, you know, the downside of that is companies don't always listen when you're trying to get them to do what should be done. So it can get pretty frustrating. And I honestly got pretty burnt out with mountain boarding. That's why I took a huge break, literally just pretty much walked away. Just a lot of, you know, just the drama, you know, it's inevitable with anything you do. And then, you know, when we start out riding, we rode for fun and just try and learn stuff. And we were always about exploring and seeing what could be ridden. And then toward the end there, it just became, you know, too much like a job. I mean, it was a job for me. So it wasn't, I mean, I was pretty lucky to have it as a job. Don't get me wrong, not whining by any means. But toward the end there, I was pretty burnt out with a lot of the politics and a lot of what was going on, and just personally burnt out. So I took a break, but you know, Cody and I made a bet. He'd been trying to get me to get back on a board forever, and we made a bet, which kind of the reason why I got back on a board. But for what I've found now, for me, mountain boarding, I actually really enjoy it again. Like I love it again, just like I did when I first started riding. And part of the reason is because, you know, I've got a collab deck with MBS trucks on it. I've got MBS bindings. I've got Ground Industry tires. So I'm literally riding what I want to ride, and whatever I think is the best product or best fit for me. That's literally what I'm riding. So
yeah.
If I'm on it, it's because I truly think it's the best it's out there to offer as far as for what I want.
Yeah, so you've got a nice mishmash going on.
Yeah, it's great. Actually, I love the board.
That's it.
Is it there?
What's that?
Have you got it in there, will you?
Oh, yeah. Here, I'll take you guys right over to it.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Let's see. That is, let's see if you can see it. Well, can you see the boards behind me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there's the Trampa board, and then right behind it is my, let me get this out of the way. Sorry, I got shit everywhere. And then there would be.
There's the collab.
There she is.
Yeah.
Board. We all like looking at each other's boards, don't we?
Right. Trying to figure out if I'm holding the camera right, but yeah. So you can see I got the. I don't know if you can see it, but the MBS trucks with ground wheels and.
Yeah, we got it.
Are they those Iridium's metal trucks you got on there? They look pretty funky color from here.
Yeah. They're like
nice.
I could pull this out now that I got shit out of the way. It'd be easier for me to move the board around than it is to move the computer around. Sorry. There we go. Just plug it back in. Yeah, so there you go. I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah,
nice.
They are nice, aren't they?
Yeah, I've never actually seen. I've seen them in pictures, but I've never seen them on a deck.
I'm pretty impressed with them. I love them. I mean, I have a spring trucks too. I think both trucks have a place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, without a doubt.
One thing
without a doubt.
One thing I do have that I always found interesting that nobody's done yet. Let's see if I can show you. All right, turn her around. So when I stopped with Ground Industries, we were working on a heel strap design.
Yeah.
And I actually still have them. But what's cool about these heel straps is they literally come off in 5 seconds, and there's no ladder straps on my board.
Oh yeah,
that is clean and tidy. Yeah.
Yep. So
Very
if you
nice.
like to ride with their heel straps, you can go either way, and then they just click back in, and they're always set to what I want them to be. So basically, I get in and out through here. You know how a lot of guys step their foot in and ratchet these. Well, the reason why I like these better is because the ladder strap is actually attached to the heel strap. And then I just use a turnbuckle here. And what I do is I always just tape them at where I wanted my settings at.
Yeah.
And then I just cut the ladder strap so that it can move with my heels up and down.
Yeah. Very
So
good.
with that, it gives me the ability to one, switch out to no heel straps quickly and not have to deal with ladder straps on my board.
Yeah. For if you're pushing or doing any 1-footer tricks, just having that ability to just whip them off clean and tidy and stick that in your pocket or bag is awesome.
You don't have to step on ladder straps.
No. Although I haven't done much pushing in a while for a long time.
I suck at pushing these days.
And I've never been one for keeping 1-footers relevant.
Yeah, I mean, for a while there, I started to do 1-footers, and then I was working on the Superman for a while. Then just never happened. Never came through.
And will you settle an argument for the purposes of this, Mr. Matt Brind? Have you seen his Superman attempts?
Hell yeah.
Of course they're watching. Were you early grabbing, or are you
No, I hated the early grab. That's why I got pissed off and stopped doing it. I was just kind of just over that. The way, and actually Matt and I have talked about this, and that's kind of like why he's doing it the way he is. Also the fact that he agrees, and he's fucking mad, of course. But no, you ride off the jump and then bring the board up to your hands and pull the board out. Yeah. No pre-grab bullshit. I hated that. But to me, it was like as lame as it gets. Yeah. I shouldn't say that. I was just never a fan of it.
Very diplomatic.
Yeah. Well, because I'd been working on that trip, and then Justin came and did it with the pre-grab, and I was just like, I was over it at that point. It was like nobody does ollies grabbing the board and jumping up holding on the board, right? Yeah. The idea is to have the board control, and you could pop off the ramp. So my bet is for Matt to do the trick the way I always thought the trick should be done, and the next level of that trick. So hopefully he's going to do it. I think he will.
And your version of the next level would be, because I know I've got my version in my head already for him.
My version is you ride off the ramp and you flip the board up and catch it into a flip. So you do it flipping.
Okay. My version in my head was taking the board off as he was and body rolling and catching.
That's another good one.
I don't know. There's
that's a great one.
And if anyone can do it, it'll be that lad. That's for sure. Well, that's it. There's some hell of a good riders out there at the minute.
I've been pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed with the level of riding.
Yeah, I mean, for such a small community that we are at the moment globally, the level of riding is that I'm seeing is really high amongst the upper echelons.
For sure, I'd like to see them hitting bigger jumps personally.
Yeah,
a little bit bigger jumps, but it amazes me what they can do on the jumps that they do.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't understand how they do it. I'm like, Jesus, you guys are going so smooth. They're smooth and they're fast when they do it.
Yeah, well, I think you're probably best or not best known for. You're known for a number of different things, but you were one of the pioneers of hitting mega ramps with mountain boarders, if not the first. You'll have to clear that up for us. So
yeah, no, that would be Leon Robbins.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually, the original Cord Tour is how they came about. I think if I'm correct, you could probably double check with Leon, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. They sent Leon out to hit the original Cord Tour ramps, which was basically the mega ramp where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one was like, I want to say it was 40 or 45-foot jump. And Leon went and hit it, and that's how we all started competing on those.
Yeah. Oh man,
we're talking about Leon Robbins here. I mean.
Well, exactly. He spent many a summer with us.
Yes.
And in the entirety of the time, I managed to get down a racetrack once in front of him. And the only reason that happened is because he fell over. The guy was like shit off a chrome shovel. He just flew, whether it be up in the air or down a track. He just flew everywhere.
Yeah, well, being Leon was always like the best you could do.
Yeah,
that's about as good as you could do. That video I sent you guys, that Daily Motion.
Yeah,
that one you saw where I'm going down a track, that was in Iowa. And if I remember right, that particular race, it was me, Leon, I want to say Jeremy, and I want to say Sansoni. And everyone was like, what to do with Leon. And Jeremy was freaking out. And I got in Jeremy's head. And pretty much, like, because Jeremy was worried about trying to figure out what gate I was going to pick. And I just remember being like, you better worry about Leon. I'm like, if you pick this gate, I'll take that gate. You take that gate, I'll take this gate. I pretty much flustered Jeremy. Jeremy was young at the time, so I got him flustered, and sure enough, took out of the gate, and it had this dropping 9-degree turn. It was fucking gnarly. Devin knocked himself out on it, flew off of it, and got knocked out. But sure enough, Jeremy, I remember right, Jeremy T-boned Leon, and I just went inside line of them, and that's why you saw me come around the corner, and then you didn't see anybody for a second. Leon was so pissed because Jason ended up winning, and Leon wanted to beat Jason, if I remember right. And Leon was like, you fucking better not lose to Jason. So in that video, what you see though is when you see the bottom section, if I remember right, it's Sansoni walking over the jump. And if you look closely, Leon flies up and tail bonks his helmet as he goes by because Leon was so pissed off that he got crashed out. So, I mean, that's what it took to beat Leon, okay?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think actually it was of his own accord from memory. It was a green man, and yeah, he slid out. But even though I went past him, he managed to get back up and still was gaining on me the rest of the track. Had the track have been another 100 meters long, boom, he'd have smoked me again. I don't know. Was he running like 200 psi or something crazy, just filling his tires up with who knows? But he was so quick.
Leon's just a ball of talent. I mean, he actually, since we're on Leon stories here, I spent many years competing with Leon, and Leon and I have done a bunch of stuff together. And it was funny, like Leon's great at pretty much almost everything. Damn good at drinking. He's good at pool, he's good at foosball and skateboarding, mountain boarding. And he was in Hawaii, and we were at Insanities. And I think I gave him a board, or he had a board, but I was like, yeah, just go out there and get a wave. And we're on the beach. I can't remember who I was with, but so I watched Leon take off and just go over the falls and just get pile driving into the sandbar. I just literally jumped up and was like, yes! Everybody was like, what the fuck? They're like, he just went over the falls. And I'm like, yeah, he's fucking not good at everything. Yes!
Found the kryptonite.
Yeah, I remember I laughed so hard. He came in, found it. I'm just like, you're not good at everything. Yeah.
Do you still keep in touch with Leon?
Oh yeah. He's married with kids. In fact, I would recommend you guys catch up with that guy. You want to talk about some crazy stories? In fact, hopefully he'll make it to Europe one of these trips. We've been talking about it.
Oh, that'd be mega.
Yeah, we'll stick him on the list, definitely.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if we're friends via internet or whatever, but I'll search him out and ping ping him
Oh yeah, you find
a
him on
message.
Instagram. I mean, I'll tell his ass.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. For a happy
Yeah,
and fulfilling life, always give in to peer pressure.
Yeah. Well, me and Cody went up to Washington for his wedding. It was pretty awesome. It was a good time. Pretty crazy. Leon's the father of 2 kids now, believe it or not.
Oh man.
There you go.
So Leon's father, 2 kids. What's going on with the rest of the old OG bomb squad these days?
Sayer's up Northern California, so is Sansoni. And Sansoni's raising his kid, having a good time. Sayer's mountain biking, dirt biking. Still, all the guys are still killing it, whatever they're doing. We actually talked about I was trying to get them to get back together and ride and shoot some footage just for kind of shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Of course, the response I got was like, "Really, bro? We're gonna get back on those boards again?"
That's a shame. I got all a little excited then when you said that.
It could happen. You never know with the guys. Leon still messes around. I mean, Leon's got a half pipe in his backyard, so I know he's still skating.
Oh, that's it. As long as you're keeping yourself alive, that's all that matters, really. But I would always like to see the old faces killing it on a mountain board. That's for sure.
The geriatric tour.
Yeah, that's it. We had the BFC on last week, and they talked about the possibilities of, or as the case may be, not returning to do a 4th film because they're all old and not cool, and
but none of them were old, Ira. That's what fucking like. Oh yeah, I'm 32. I'm like, fucking hell, lads. That's not old.
No,
you tell them I said they're pussies.
That's it. That's it. You've heard it from Akoni. You're all pussies. Get back on board.
Yeah. Especially Dave Compton.
Yeah. So I've got to ask. A big thing for a lot of us back in the day was you trailblazing the Red Bull helmet and the immediate recognition that comes with that. How, if you don't mind me asking, how did that come about? I know you've been on plenty of tours with them and done this in various different guises, have been involved with this company. What is there a sort of backstory to that we can dig into as such?
Oh yeah, it's pretty funny.
Spill it on the dirt.
I think I've only told Cody this story, but it was I think it was 98 Dirt Duel. Well, okay, if you want to get the real legit story, we gotta go back to like 96. So me and my buddy we got off work in Haleiwa and we're hitchhiking back to where we lived in Pupukea. And it was like a hot day, and we were both just kind of tired. And I was like, "Hey man, don't worry about it, bro. 2 hot chicks with cold drinks are gonna pick us up." And he was kind of like laughing at me, right? And then this Jeep pulled over, and it was 2 hot girls. So I was like, "Hey man, I was 50% right." And they're like, "Are you thirsty?" And my buddy was like, and I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Reach behind you. There's a cooler," and they had a cooler, and they were soft sampling Red Bull. So we got to try Red Bull, and that was like the first time I ever tried it. And then flash forward to, I want to say it was 97 or 90. I think it was 97. Yeah, I believe it was 97 or 98. Well, anyways, that's irrelevant. But so we're at Snow Valley competing. And it was 97, I believe. And there is, they had a Red Bull tent. They had the Red Bull girls, and they were sampling Red Bull. And I started drinking Red Bull. Anyways, I ended up drinking like throughout the whole event. Like I just kept drinking them. I was like totally cracked out. And I was in the finals, and they were like, "You've had too many. You can't have any more." And I was like, "Bullshit! You've been giving me the shit all day. You're not cutting me off right before the finals." I was like, "You're giving me another can." So I got another can, and then we did the finals, and then at the end, I was like, "Hey man, I really like this product. Like, how do I get a hold of the company to see if they'd sponsor me?" So they gave me the card, and at that time they're in California in the Palisades. And I was staying at Eric Steffler's house. So when I got to California, or it in the Palisades area, because we're up in Snow Valley, which is in California. I reached out to him and I was like, hey, ride mountain boards. I do videos and stuff, and I'd like to get sponsored by you. I love the product. And I met Jim Gunning, and that's when he was like, he's, oh, well, why don't you come down to the office, show us what you got? And I was like, all right. I was like, where are you guys? And they said, oh, Pacific Palisades. And I was at my Eric's house. And I was like, hey, where is this? And he's like, oh, it's skateboarding distance from my house. All right, got on a skateboard, skated down. So I met up with Gunning at Red Bull, and I was like, hey, I love the product. Like, I'd be super pumped to ride for you guys. And I showed him some videos and some of the media I'd been on and stuff I did. Like, coming from North Shore, that was kind of like just normal, like pro surfers. That's what they did.
Yeah.
So I always just kind of modeled everything after them. Like, didn't reinvent the wheel. You get on videos, you get logos, you get sponsors, so I was just kind of doing that. And I love the product. And then at the end, Jim was like, so, hey man, we like your style. We're stoked that you like the product. He's we're gonna we had this other guy that was asking us to sponsor him, somebody named Jason Lee. And he offered to jump over one of our cars. I was like, all right. Hopefully Jay don't see this, because Jay I don't think's heard this story. So he was like, so we're gonna buy your helmet. So we'll take your helmet, and they offered me a contract, and it was like light years ahead of what any of my sponsors were doing. Yeah. And I just remembered being blown away by it, and I was super pumped, because I did love the product, still do, obviously. I mean, not that I'm a crackhead or anything. Just saying. No, yeah. So, and that's how that all started. And that was an incredible ride. They were the main reason why I was able to transition into full-time riding. And literally that's all I did was train and focus on riding. And we used to have this killer dirt jump in our backyard at one point that we built, sort of half built, and kept hitting it anyways.
As you do.
And how did Red Bull use you during their time with you?
Well, what I've always loved about the company Red Bull is one of the things that Gunning had said to me is like, the reason why we sponsor grassroots sports is because if we don't and nobody does, then they'll fade away, and it's like a loss. We'll lose these sports. These also, so they would try and do projects. They would, we did a race in San Fran. I'd go on video shoots with them, and they would help get me into stuff, doing projects basically. And then they would help me, they helped me afford to be able to go to contests and go to events. And they made it so that I could practice full time. So they basically, they gave me a salary and incentives, and they made it so that I was able to spend my days, either at one point we used to ride at the motocross track. I mean, I used to go up on the weekdays, and I'd spend 8 or 10 hours by myself in the middle of nowhere, just cutting kickers into areas and carving out berms and creating lines. So that gave me they helped make it so I had the freedom to spend, a 40-hour week building jumps or riding bikes, running, weightlifting, diving, surfing, mountainboarding. Yeah. So that's what gave me the freedom to do. And then it also gave me the leverage to turn around to my other sponsors and be like, well, this is what they're doing. So your space just got smaller unless you want to step it up.
That's it. You gotta use what you get given, don't you?
Yeah, well, we weren't getting rich. I mean, I was just trying to be able to afford to be able to ride full time, because that's all I wanted to do.
Well, that's it. When I started with Ride the Hill, and I'm sure it's probably the same with Sogs, I left reasonably well-paid employment to take a pay cut, but at the same token, you're changing a lifestyle. I'm going to work every day. I'm teaching kids and whoever that comes through the door giving them their first experience of mountainboarding, something that I love. So it was super rewarding.
Oh yeah, doing it full time. Just the only bad downside to it was cutting grass, but the rest of it was fucking brilliant.
See, I enjoyed the cutting grass, but maybe that's why I got banished up.
I hate that swimmer.
You're supposed to cut the grass, not smoke the grass.
Over behind Berm 3. That was where that was. So you sent me a a message mentioning we're on the topic of Red Bull, the Red Bull Rock Run and the Red Bull Athlete Challenge. What were
Yes.
those two? Are they
That was
competitions that you was
that
involved
was that was the peak of my life. It's been shit since then.
with? I
I
don't
peaked
believe that
early.
for a second, because
Um,
from this side of the fence, the grass is way greener where you are, my man.
um, those are two of my probably two of my proudest events, proudest trophies, if we're being totally, or my favorite, I should say. I mean, there's a lot of things I can be proud of, I suppose, but those are two of my favorites. The Red Bull so I used to just free dive. We had a place called Sharks Cove. So we'd swim through caves holding our breath. And I used to do it linking up caves and for fun. And a lot of surfers used to train running rocks across the bottom of the ocean. At the time, Garrett McNamara and I were on North Shore, and we sort of teamed up, and we'd just go out and we'd run rocks at this canyon outside of Sharks Cove. We'd about 35 feet down, and we'd swim down, we'd run a rock, as far as we could, then you'd go up, and the next guy was above you spotting you, and he'd go down and he'd run the rock, and you'd follow him and he'd come up. So, just basically working on breath hold. Garrett is a pretty gnarly big wave charger. And I just did it because I just like to hold my breath. So then Red Bull they were having a contest on the west side that Brian Kailana had helped organize, and it was called the Red Bull Underwater Rock Run. And basically, so they had like a course, and then they had like a pile of rocks. So you'd sit there and you'd swim down and grab a rock, and you'd run as far as you can on one breath. And I had no idea what anybody was doing, like lengthwise or any of that stuff, And so when the event came up, because I was a Red Bull athlete, I got to enter the event. Because I mean, it was with like some pretty heavy hitter, like surfers and lifeguards, guys that did this all the time. So we basically, I was in it, and Garrett would have actually been in it with me, but at the time there was a possible big swell coming in through, I want to say it was Portugal at the time. So he left. So he flew out to go to chase big waves. So it was just me, and I went to the event, and then I did my first run. I think I ran like 245 feet. And then they put the event on hold, and I was sitting there, and I found I knew the organizers and everybody because it was through Red Bull stuff, and I was just kind of like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, well, we figure you're going to outrun the course, so we're adding 100 more feet to the course. I ended up winning the event. I did 315 feet. I did outrun the course by 15 feet, basically 105 yards. Yeah. And I ended up winning it, and I beat second place by 75 feet, so like 25 yards.
I honestly think you're crackers. I think I don't know that I could swim down. How far down did you say?
That event was only like 12 or 15 feet of water. It wasn't very deep, but so you'd swim down, and you'd run across the bottom carrying a rock.
So you literally, you could bounce yourself back up to the top.
Yeah. So you would go as you want to pick a rock that was heavy enough to keep you on the bottom, but not so heavy that you work too hard carrying it.
Yeah.
Well, at that time in my life, I had like a 3-minute 45-second breath hold. And probably honestly, my saving grace is there were no real free divers at the event, because free divers, like real free divers, can hold their breath that long and way longer. Yeah. So, but that was 3 minutes 45 with movement. Like I used to link up multiple caves and just go in and out. My friends would come out diving. They would do a cave, and they would just sit and wait on the reef to see where I popped up, because I'd just be buzzing around through caves and under the reef.
Yeah.
But I think that event was like, I want to say that event was like a Wednesday, like a middle of the week event, or like a weekend event. And so that event ended. And the next day after that event, I flew to Vegas for the Red Bull Athlete Challenge. So it was basically once a year, they'd get all the Red Bull North America athletes. We'd all get together, and they would take us somewhere, and it'd be like 3 days of debauchery and events. But this particular year, it was Las Vegas, and we got to drive Indy cars. So they created this big loop in a parking lot, and we had 10 laps in an Indy car. and everything was like, timed. They had all the computers and stuff. And then we got to rally beamers on a like a dirt course, and then we did street racing. I think it was beamers as well, like convertibles on like a street course. And then what else did we do? Oh, then we had to do the pit stops, ripping the tires off and stuff. So basically we did that. And so I knew the filmers actually had the video. It's kind of funny, but I was like, if they tell me last lap in that car, I'm fucking spinning that thing. And they said last lap, and I spun a 360 on the backside, and I got it going. I didn't kill it. I was super pumped because people, if you killed it, you're done, right? So that's why I was like last lap. But one of our guys, he was an off-road truck racer, Steve Barlow. He was a racer, so he got slid out. And he tried to correct it. I think he clipped the front tire and took off the front end of it, and they had it back up and running in a couple of hours. Well, I think I want to say it was probably, I think it was Ben Bostrom, or I'm pretty sure it was Ben, but right, Ben, I think Ben had gone just before me, and before I got in, Ben was like, he's like, don't be afraid. He's like, go as fast as you can. He's like, let off on the gas in the corners. He's like, you're gonna skip, but trust it'll hold. And I just kept going faster and faster each lap, and it would just be like, it was like a go-kart is what it felt like to me, because you're in the center and you have no like vision, and you would literally be going around like and as soon as it was straight, I just punch it, and so then at the end of that event, at the after party, the party for the whole event, they had awards, and so they had like the fastest athlete in the car, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, I want to say I was a third fastest North American Red Bull athlete in the car, and I was the fastest non-motorsport athlete in the car, and I won a piece of the car for that event, and it ended up being stolen in Vegas, which was kind of a bummer. But so that was like within 1 week, I had won in 2 Red Bull events that weren't even my sport. So my team manager was like, "Don't worry about it. You'll be fine for next year. So you don't have to do anything."
Awesome. That's a great fucking story.
It was pretty amazing. I mean, I didn't think that I would do that well, but I probably say it's because of the good advice I got right in the car. Because he's like, just do it. I know we used to always like rally around. We used to call it rent a rally car. We'd go rent cars and rally them. So like I wasn't afraid to punch the gas, and I think it's a lot of good luck, good timing, but it was pretty awesome. Like that thing was pure power. And then Buddy Rice got in it at the end. It was like doing donuts, racing around. It was pretty insane.
I remember on the car front, I remember doing a demo show. You come along to the London one, I believe, Slugs.
Yeah.
The MPH. Well, it was the hosts of Top Gear, and it was like Top Gear live, but for whatever reasons the BBC weren't endorsing it, and so they called it at the MPH show. And myself, Steve Birkbeck, and Dave Compton, Slogs and Beeren went up, and we were reenacting a Saab commercial that was running at the time, where a wakeboarder was being towed down the canals by a Saab. And during this indoor show with cars doing donuts and big JCBs, like ballet dancing JCBs and all sorts of mad crazy stuff, and bikes doing everything, we would, or I say we, thankfully I was just ground crew, but DC and I think maybe Beeren were getting towed round by Saabs with predetermined kickers in place and a little rail seat, but like with a wakeboarding handle just hanging off the back. And it's just so much fun and so random to have those little experiences. I mean, for yourself, I think you've had far more of those, but for us, I consider myself a fairly low key person. To have those little experiences is just a joy to look back on. I mean, if we're looking at highlight reels of your riding career, along with the Red Bull stuff, you've done a few different advertisement campaigns, and I suppose the other big thing was Johnny Capahala.
Yeah.
But that was with a crew. So first of all, I'd like to ask a little bit about the ads and how they came about. Were they sort of, I assume that once you get a name like Red Bull on your resume, and if you might start, you're going to have avenues into other areas. It maybe opens a few doors or gives you a few connections. Did those other bits come about? Where in the timeline of Akoni did that sort of stuff come about?
The Johnny Kapahala thing was kind of a pretty crazy experience, to be honest. I had an agent at the time for when I did the Honda commercial, and somebody reached out to my agent from Disney, and they said that they had a mountain board movie that they wanted me to be involved in. So I was like, all right. I was like, yeah, you're gonna pay me a mountain board? Duh. So yeah, I was like, come on, guys. So I was like, I went and met with the Disney people, and it was crazy about it was, so I still have the original script that they gave me. And so like they started like talking about it, and I was like glancing through it, and it was like whoever, I felt like and I don't know this for sure, this is just what I thought, but I felt like whoever had written the script for it had seen my mountain boarding career, because there were places in the movie that represented places that we had built and rode in Hawaii. That they were like our spots, and they were in the script. And so that they were like, hey, basically it's, they kind of told me the whole premise about it. And they were like, so, we'd like you to work on it. We'd like you to put together the team, design the course, choreograph the stunts, and to be in it. And I was like, all right. So yeah, whatever, negotiate with my agent, which worked out good. But so in the meeting, they were like, they were all, so yeah, so we wrote you in the movie. And I was like, all right, cool. Who am I? What am I? I just figured I was some, whatever. And that's when they gave me the script, and they're, here you are. And it's like Akoni Kama. And I just remember being like, what the hell is going on? Like, you want me to be me? It's like, not sure I'm Disney approved, but I'm just going to fucking run with it. It was, I was blown away. I mean, honestly, never in my, I guess in my life, I mean, I've never known what I was going to do. Still don't know what I'm going to do when I grow up. Still haven't figured it out.
That's the best way to be.
Right. And I've always just kind of gone in a direction, headstrong, like wide open. But never in my entire life would I ever have guessed that I would literally play myself in a Disney movie. So that was pretty amazing. I was just really blown away. And that was a sweet gig. Like, I got to hang out with Brandon for a month in California, working with him on surfing. So I was like, well, I need a wetsuit and some surfboards. So got that. And then I got to live in New Zealand for 2 months. And it was crazy because, I had Leon and Cody there. And then we had Ben, we had Jesus Christ, why am I drawing blanks right now? Jared, Ryan, and Joe.
A decent crew down there, yeah.
And it was insane because Leon, I mean, they took us up to the track, and literally Leon and I just walked with them to the top of this area. And they were like, so what can we build? And me and Leon just start shooting back and forth. They're like, what do you need? I'm like, 4-wheelers, motorized 4-wheelers, backhoe and a driver. And some wood and carpenters, and they literally got everything. And we spent when I say a month designing and building the course, and then choreographing the race, and with Cody. And yeah, I mean, we were jumping the quads. There's one shot, me and Leon, we'd always fuck around with the quads, and there was one shot where we're on a hill, and we're just pushing the quads nose to nose, and we're trying to push each other, and all of a sudden my quad just goes up. It just goes like that. I fall off the back. I'm hitting the ground like, this is it. I'm gonna die. And luckily, Leon fucking hit the brake. My quad's standing up. His is right there, and I'm just on my back, like, oh fuck. Yeah, I mean, it was a good time. And then we, they did the demo ramp scene, that demo scene when we first shot it, built the ramps, and so it was a pretty big deal for them. They were super nervous. They didn't know mountain boarding, if we could deliver on what we said we could. It was really awesome. So we had like half a floor of a hotel for that month there, and there's a lot of debauchery stories on that one, but that's another time. After our first demo scene, we came back to our hotel room and we opened our fridge, and our fridge was just full of beer on every shelf with a big like,
man,
you guys are awesome note. Yeah, they filled our fridge with beer and they fucking gave us, they're so pumped after the demo. We were pumped too, you know, because everything went smooth, nobody got hurt. And yeah, we were just like, all right. And it was literally just, we lived in New Zealand for, I think it was 1 or 2 months. It was kind of a blur.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be. Did it just get all backhoed in again afterwards? I wonder if the Kapahala track is still out there in New Zealand, being lived on by sheep somewhere.
What was insane was we had a 270 berm, like a corkscrew berm. So you came in, and the berm at one point, I want to say, was like 20 feet. Sorry, my hands are like, I'm like, it was like 3,000 feet. So it was like a 20-foot berm, but it was like a corkscrew. It literally came around a corner and right back into the hill. So we'd come around the corner, then you'd slide, and then it was super steep into the double rails into the water feature. I mean, it was insane because we were like, yeah, we could do this. And then it was like the digger, like, so how do you feel about this? He's like, yeah, I got it. This digger dude was amazing, bro. He's like on the side of a steep ass hill. I mean, it was steep. That berm was insane. It was amazing. And then when we first walked through, we're like, you know, we'll just put a seawall right here. We'll just cut some trees. I think we couldn't cut trees down. And we had a spot where we'd come off the trail and we made a seawall that was floating in the air. So you'd air onto it, ride around it, and then you'd air off of it. And like, yeah, we're just like, yeah, we'll just put a seawall right here. Like, all right. And we just fucking built it. And then we choreographed the pass on it. So one of the shots is, I want to say, I was Johnny Kapahala and he was the Dirt Devil guy. And I want to say it was, he passed me, I want to say, or I passed him. One of us passed each other. But yeah, if you talk to Leon, he'll probably bring up the fact that one time that I was supposed to turn right and I think he was supposed to turn left, and I think I turned left and hit him in the back and he had a scratch. So if you watch the show, there's a shot of the Dirt Devil guy, and I want to say he's in the air, I think, but you'll see his shirt lip. You can just see a scratch on his back. And Cody will always be like, "That's when Akoni hit Leon."
Amazing.
It's just out of this world, like stories like that. Just given that chance to just design what you want, and money was no object.
It was insane. It was insane. I wouldn't say money was no object, but it sure was a lot more options money-wise than I'd ever been given.
A budget, full stop for it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was amazing.
I mean, we've talked about this a couple of times before now, and the budgets for advertising, the budgets for promotional material in this modern day and age seems to have dropped right out of action sports as a whole, with the exception of energy drink companies. It's hard, you know. There are skate brands and snow brands that are pushing. I don't know if it's the same for surf, but there's nobody getting paid by Facebook or Instagram to be sat on the side of a hill at any of these comps. Yet Facebook and Instagram are getting all the pictures from all the comps.
Be an influencer.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Mate,
that's the new sponsored person.
Well, when the dirt goes mainstream and we got thousands of viewers, we'll spend the first of the multi-million-dollar budget for promotions on building a new track.
Oh, that would be insane.
It's never going to happen, unfortunately, but
right, not while we're still here, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point. I mean, look at where snowboarding started and where skateboarding started. I mean, everything has a start. At some point it clicks over. Although I will say mountainboarding is a lot tougher. It's more challenged to become a big sport because anybody can buy a skateboard and kick down the street and feel like a top pro or have a good time on a board. You know, people can get on a snowboard and ride the bunny slope and go have beers at the bar after, have hot chocolate by the fire.
Yeah.
Those sports are easier to do. I mean, look, falling in snow, you can bust your ass really good, but you can also slide and have a good time with your friends and, not do anything. Mountainboarding's a little tougher as far as in my opinion. That's just my opinion. It's a little, a sport can only be as big as its consumer base. So, we had appeal, I think, for a while there because we were edgy, we were new. And I think it's people still ask me what mountainboarding is, so I guess we're technically still new. But it's harder to have a big consumer base when you don't have stuff to ride everywhere that's easy for beginners. So I mean, that was one of the things that I fell in love with the UK when I first went over there. I was blown away. I was like, you have ride centers? People can rent boards? I was like, what the fuck? Why don't we have this shit? I was like, this is amazing. That was when I spent that season there for that whole, the whole ATBA UK. I remember just being like, yeah, I'll just stay here for the summer. There's shit to ride everywhere. we camped, we rode around in a Sprinter, we camped in tents. I showered at the places like with hoses, and we had a good time.
Yeah. It was good times back in the day.
Yeah, the early to mid, well, the 2000s, I should say, in the UK were just incredible.
Yeah, because I want to say it was what, 2002, I think I was over there.
Yeah,
it was 2002.
That was my discovery year. So literally, I'd have been tootling down the hill, practicing slalom, and going off a max track kicker and that sort of stuff, finding my feet.
Oh wow, that was a fun season, man. It was rowdy. Me and Pete, Dave, and Andy went head to head for that whole season. It was a good time. Yeah, it was awesome.
The brothers Tatham are some people that I'd love to get on here. I've not heard hide nor hair of them for a good few years. Last time I saw Pete was when he came and visited me in France, and Dave would have been even longer than that.
Yeah, that was a fun time with those dudes. We butted heads, and in the end, we were all buddies. I had a great time with them. Like, amazing. But you gotta remember, I was like pretty sure I was one of the first Americans over there as far as like coming over and competing.
Yeah, definitely.
It was just like, wow, this is how we do it. Yeah, well, this is how we do it. Everybody's just like, well, this is how we do it. Well, this is how we do it. So it was fun. I remember just like, go ahead.
Go on. No.
I remember like the racing. Like I had so much fun there because it was like there was one race where we raced. I think I want to say it was down a dirt trail, onto a paved road, and off the paved road onto grass, something like that. And it was raining, so it made it more fun, which you guys have that a lot. But I remember just like the diversity of stuff that we were riding was super fun. Like we rode so many different spots and so many different types of riding that I remember just being like, I had so much fun over there. Yeah. But then Earthboards and I fell apart, so then I wasn't going back over because that's when Leon came over. And one funny story, I remember, I think it was Dave, Andy, or P, but we were just kind of, we'd always like in the beginning, we always kind of go back and forth, not like bickering, but not bickering, you know what I mean? Like it'd always be like blah blah blah, and I just remember being like, you think I'm bad? Wait till Leon gets here. And then the next day Leon came, and I was like, good luck, boys. I was like, oh, well, you gotta deal with Leon now.
Yeah, I think I don't know why Leon stopped coming over, and I don't know when his last season would have been in the UK because, like I say, I jumped shipped over to Europe in 2005, 2006, I think. Yeah. 2006.
Checking the clip
dates. 2004 was first trip, and then 2005 I stayed after a snow season and did a few comps over there. So for that 2006, Leon would have still been here, when I was in the UK, and I think he probably done another season or two after I went over to Europe. But at that point, the plot thickens in that Tom Kirkman became of age and started competing against Leon. And let's be honest, at the time, I can't think of many riders that could hold court with Leon. You know, he won everything.
I agree.
Every year, and then it took Tom to mature to sort of start knocking the throne.
Tom's a phenomenal rider and an amazing person. Love that dude. And yeah, he's the United Kingdom's Leon.
That's it. Well, was the United Kingdom's Leon, as every king has their day as such.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think now, modern day, we got to be looking at, like you say, Matt Brind or Eamon. Eamon Shaw is current hashtag not the world freestyle champion. But I think both of those lads now in maturity is like generations, isn't it? Every rider peaks for, I suppose, sort of 5 to 10 years, and for that period, Leon was untouchable. I think there's a few downhills that Pete Tatham had him on, but yeah, great times. Yeah. We wish you'd have come over more often though, but hey ho, you was doing other things. Who,
Leon?
No, you were at the time.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. I was doing something.
So did you ever get involved in running any centers over there, over your end?
We had started one in Hawaii at one point, built the course for them, I should say. And then Ground Industries had a park that we went and rode at Beach Mountain.
Where's that?
It was in Beach Mountain. I want to say it was North Carolina, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. North or I was north. I think it was north because we were in south, and I think we drove to north. Sorry, shit's a bit of a haze sometimes.
it's a haze for us as well, brother. It's no different.
So yeah, and then we had Snowmass. Snowmass, which is the strongest running thing I think that the US has ever had. So Snowmass, we used to have our US Open there every year, and they still have a camp there. The Snowmass, the mountainboarding camp at Snowmass. I want to say it's the Dirt Dogs. That's right. Pretty sure that's right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they kill it. I mean, Snowmass has talk to Jeremy Leaf about that. He still works with them. He's actually a snowboard, ski, and mountainboard instructor in Snowmass.
Awesome. Jeremy, if you're listening, we want you on. I again, that's another person I've only ever met once, I believe, in 2003 at the Blinder.
Oh, another talented rider.
Yeah, and still talented to this day. You all are. This is the glorious thing for us. You know, we're knocking on 15 to 20 years in the game, and still fucking shredding. All of us. Let's be honest. I think, you know, you're all. Although we're getting older, the passion hasn't been quelled. We've all taken sabbaticals from it and all come back to it, and the passion is lit again for everybody.
Yeah,
I think you need when you're so into something for so long, you need to take time off, like you said earlier, from having your own break from mountain boarding and stuff.
But it's a part of you as well, isn't it? There's something. It's always there.
Oh, yeah. I never stopped looking at terrain.
Yeah, exactly. You never stop looking at terrain. You never stop. And with the advent of social media, and having that connection with so many people around the world, there's always somebody's always mountain boarding, and that's a beautiful thought, I think. But so the scene, if you say you're not in Hawaii at the moment. Is the scene in Hawaii still going? Ali Kano, I see footage coming up.
Ollie's holding it strong. Brian Mon is on Kauai. Austin Robbins is actually on Kauai right now too.
Oh, okay.
Leon's brother, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's definitely, I mean, those guys are all holding it strong. As far as North Shore Oahu, it's, I'd say I haven't been there, so I guess I shouldn't say I know, but sure doesn't seem like there's much going on these days.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but by where I live, me and Cody have talked about buying some land and just building a random track out somewhere and throwing some containers down and having a place to stay up there and just ride.
Yeah.
So there's pockets, there's still pockets of small numbers still going strong.
Yeah. I mean, Ollie's holding it strong. Ollie's still riding religiously. So I'd say he's the guy holding Hawaii down these days. In fact, when me and Cody made our bet and I was going to get back on a board, I actually went over and saw Ollie on Lanai just sort of knock the cobwebs off, which I literally did knock the cobwebs off, quite literally, with my body. So it was fun. I remember just being like, why the fuck am I doing this again? Damn it. Like some diggers.
That red dirt that you guys have got out there looks incredible. The color of it just looks great. And some of the terrain that I've seen him posting up, Hawaii is not is volcanic.
Yeah. Well, all the islands are made by a volcano. So the older islands have the red dirt because the islands have been there longer.
Yeah.
So it's a clay. And what's amazing about like our red clay in Hawaii is it's literally clay. So at the right wetness, you can make it perfectly smooth and it dries tacky. And while it's drying, when you ride it, you just wear in the tire tracks and it can get super smooth. And then when it gets too dry, it cracks. When it gets too wet, it becomes too slippery and it's like being on glass. But when it's like you can literally carve. I mean, we used to just sit in the mountains with picks on the side of cliffs, just shaving the lips off, you know what I mean? And then scraping the transitions out and then be like, all right, who's gonna test it?
like shaping snow more. Just a little bit probably tougher on the hands.
It's definitely more work, but I mean, shit, it's clay. It's good for you. People pay money to have clay mask. we spend all day in it. I mean, I would literally, if it rained too much to ride, I had a dirt bike and I'd literally ride across the back in a bouquet into my spots and just go work for days. And then as it was drying up, then we'd just be like, all right, transition back to riding and we're done working.
Island life looks good. It has to be said. I mean, and like I say, Ollie's feed is either riding a mountain board, surfing, or spending time with his kids. He just seems to be living the clean life and living the dream. It looks awesome.
Oh, Lanai's beautiful too. Like I really got, it was awesome the last time I was on Lanai with them. It's a beautiful island.
Yeah. But you're on the mainland now. What are you currently doing for work at the moment? Are you still doing your Sprinter vans?
Yeah, so we started a company with some partners. Technically, I'm supposed to be working on them right now, but it's all right. So I'm prototyping our next generation. So I designed a Sprinter, and I built it with the company, and basically I designed it to work year round. So it's like, so for example, I go up to Snowmass and I'll park in front of Cody's house and live in the van and go snowboard all day. And I can come in and take a hot shower, cook a meal. I've got filtered drinking water. I carry about 44 gallons of fresh water, 38-gallon gray water tank, about 20-gallon black water tank. And everything's inside the vehicle and heated so that when I'm running the heat, everything functions. So I don't have to worry about stuff freezing as long as I keep my heat running.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a year-round usable Sprinter. And so we've the first one I did, I've been living in it for about a year. When I'm over here, I live in it. And so I've been working out things I like and don't like and making changes. Right now we're prototyping the first one for our company. And so we've changed to an all aluminum design, which is a lot harder in the front, but I believe it'll be better in the long run. So what I want to do is make the Ferraris of sprinter vans. Like I want to make a badass van that is as good as it can be. So we're literally, I sit with engineers and we're designing out all the parts, and we have bending capabilities, laser cutting machines, water jets. So everything's cut and bent, or welded, and then we install it. So what I'm able to do is I'm able to save, like in the current design I'm doing right now, I gained a foot of space in the back, which is where I put like a board rack. So I can put either surfboards, wake surfing boards, mountain boards, whatever the hell I want, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, cracking.
So yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. The one I'm working on right now will have 3 seats and 3 beds and 40 gallons of fresh water, 38 gallons gray, 20 gallons black water, 1200 amp hours of lithium power, and it'll charge off the engine with a high speed, secondary high speed, high amperage alternator.
Oh,
so basically, I would get like 175 amps an hour while the engine's running into the system.
Well,
so
I'll tell you what, Campervan prices in the UK since COVID has just gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same in the States. Are people taking to,
a lot more people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been growing really fast. One of the fastest growing markets for a while now. So it's definitely growing faster. We'll see how long it stays like that. But I'm not there's a lot of good vans out there. It's just everything's built with wood and wood screws or self tappers in. And what we're doing is we're literally building parts that bolt to the van, which one should be safer in a crash scenario. It should be able to make for a lighter van. And whereas normally you'd have like a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, I've got an 1/8 inch aluminum piece there. So, it starts adding up in your interior height and your interior length and width of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's better and it's lighter.
Oh, it's definitely.
And hard wearing.
What's that?
And hard wearing.
Yeah. And we powder coat the parts. So, and we're trying to design it with ease of serviceability too. So if you need to pull out a part, you can pull out a part. If you need to access something, it's the least amount of bullshit you can go through to get the part out. So a lot, one thing about when you live in vans, stuff breaks, stuff goes wrong. So having to work on it all makes it real easy for me. And when I stopped riding mountain boards, as I transitioned out, I started driving some of the Red Bull vehicles, and then it transitioned into I got to design some Red Bull event cars, DJ trucks with a buddy of mine. So we had the old MXTs over here, DJ booths. We had designed them and we sourced it out and built them. And then I designed we used to have a Red Bull tour bus over here. Basically, it was an old Silver Eagle, GMC Silver Eagle, but basically the bus, the whole sidewall dropped down. The sidewall raised up, and then it went up on hydraulics, and the inside floor dropped out. And then basically me and one guy in 2.5 hours, we could be set up to do a concert out the side of this bus. And the only thing we needed were the musicians. We had a 80,000 watt generator in a trailer with 100 gallons of diesel in it. So I could pull up somewhere and I could be in 2.5 hours ready for the bands to load in and start doing sound check. And we use that all over the US. So that kind of led into when I was like 18, I lived out of a 69 Volkswagen pop top camper. I had like three of them, consecutively. And we used to just wake up wherever the surf was good. So I'd go to work, and then I'd go back, sleep on the beach, wherever the surf was on the island that was going to be good, and would wake up, surf all day and go to work. So, I've been living out of vans and vehicles since I was like literally probably 18, 19. So that, went through all that. And then it just sort of transitioned. When that year I went to England before that trip. But that trip sort of sealed it. That's where I fell in love with sprinters. And I was like, man, why don't we have these in the US? And then all of a sudden I turned around and I was like, we got them now. All right. So, I started seeing them, and that's when I was like, man, I'd really like to build one a very specific way. And I got the opportunity to do that. So I have one, and that one led into the opportunity I'm in right now, where we're designing the next generation of them, which is I'm pretty exciting about it. I think it's going to be, if everything goes the way I envision it, we're going to do a very high-end, durable product.
Yeah, and there's always a market for high end. If whilst there are probably a higher number of, like you say, wood build vehicles on the road, that there are just as many people with modern day a bit of money in their pocket who don't want to go through all that hassle and want a high-end product that they can pull up anywhere and have that ability to go for a lengthy period of time without having to pull a trailer, or without having to have a camper van, a Winnebago style thing.
Yeah, well, the cool thing is the way we design them is so they're kind of stealth. So they're not easily recognizable as like RVs, camper vans. They look like just a big van with windows, I mean, it's kind of hard not to believe that it's a camper van, but it's kind of like, looks like a passenger van with tinted windows, but like
it's got the FBI sat inside.
Right, full system there. I mean, I could literally park on the side of the road and run my AC and sleep, and the only thing you hear is the whiz of a fan, because we thermal line them, we sound deaden them, we thermal line them, we insulate them. So they're really quiet inside, and we don't have generators. We run off of lithium. So, you only have whatever's drawing power. So if the AC is running, you'll hear a fan on the roof doing a little whizzing sound. So they're a lot more stealth.
Listen, dude, I'm aware Slugs is off to work tonight, and we're starting to get towards roundup time as such. So I want to get some of the readers. I was about to say readers' wives.
Readers' wives.
Readers' wives. I've not seen a page like that since the late 90s either.
Since this morning, you mean?
Yeah, since the viewers' questions, of which we have two. One, unfortunately,
two viewers. That's it.
There's only two viewers. Our two viewers have both sent in questions.
Yes, I did discover dirt.
yes, I did discover dirt. So, that viewer was Matt Brind, and he did not give us a video this week. There's no, what was it, Sanford Gazette that he did last week? But his question was, what was the wildest after party, or after party thing that you can remember and want to divulge, because they might not be able to.
What would be the wildest? I don't know about the wildest, to be honest. There's a lot to choose from. I don't know if I should tell this one. I'm trying to decide.
Don't tell it. If it'll affect you in the future, it makes it far easier for me to not have to edit stuff out.
But you can tell us when the camera's off. Because we really want to fucking know now.
Well, I think I could give you an edited version. So when I was touring with, there were a lot of parties. They were pretty wild. I think I'm going to go with, I was on tour with the Crusty Demons of Dirt. I have, is it 2 or 3? I have 2 awards on my shelf of awards. 2 of them from the Krusty's tour. And it was the most embarrassing moment on tour and tour slut. The 2 awards. Anyways, I was out with a friend and we were partying with the girl, and I ended up back at her place, and it turned out that she had a boyfriend who was a pretty big dude, big concrete worker. I got hit in the face with an ashtray. I had to get 8 stitches in my lip, went right through my lip. And so for the rest of the shows, they would be like, the shows are very choreographed. I'd come out and do a straight air 360 and a backflip. So I'd come out, do a straight air 360, then it'd bring me up on the ramps and be like, hey, if you guys want it, he's going to try a mountain board backflip for you. So crazy. And so for the rest of that tour, they'd be like, so he face planted in practice and has 8 stitches in his lip. If you guys cheer loud enough, he'll try a backflip for you. Backflip. Yeah. But yeah, so we had the awards at the end. And I think those are the 2 awards I got. Most embarrassing moment on tour and tour slut. One for going home with a girl and for got my ass fucking knocked pretty hard by a dude. It was pretty funny.
But you weren't wearing your MBS top at the time with the big.
No, that was the Rodeo 7 gone bad. That was I was supposed to twist and I pulled back too hard.
Oh.
I was nervous. It was the first one I was trying at Dirt. I'd been practicing them at Woodward. And yeah, in fact, but that led to the double because that's when I did that, I was looking at it and I remember just being like, well, fuck, might as well have just done a double. And by the way, solid piece of advice for all young riders. When it comes to flips, it's all about whole numbers, no halves, no fractions, whole numbers, whole numbers.
Sound advice.
Yeah, keep it down like 1s and 2s. 1.5, bad news.
Yeah.
So
there's definitely been a few overshoots in the time from
so
we can do a highlight reel of overshoots there. I'm just thinking Matt Brin's Heart Hill was a classic one as well, where he comes down from a great height.
My first toe in was an overshoot. It was I was on Outback and we were at Pomona, I think, or Poway. I don't know. Anyways, so there was a BMX track and there was like a 20-foot BMX kicker. And I was hitting some hard jumps. And my buddy was like, you need to get towed into that jump. He rode dirt bikes and we'd always done shit together. And I was like, find me a vehicle. Hey, you want to tow my buddy in the jump? Sure. It was a Jeep. It's like, don't got a rope, bro. Extension cord. Tied an extension cord to the back of the Jeep. We did a couple of passes at the jump. And I just remember being like, I can't fucking see anything. There's a fucking Jeep in front of my face. I was like, all right, here we go. And I did a couple passes and then I was like, well, I don't want to go too slow. And so he had a camera on a tripod and it had the jump framed up. So it was like, it would have looked like, let's see, something like this in the camera, right? And basically I came up and he was there with a camera and the video's running tripod. And then you just see him drop the camera and I fly up and then I fly out of frame still in the air. that was my first towing. And I fucking rolled it off. And he's like, you all right? I'm like, yep, I think we're going a little too fast. Maybe slow it down a little. So that's how the towing shit started, actually.
Oh.
Which that's what led to eventually being towed by a helicopter on a mountain board.
Indeed. And they're all just groundbreaking, I have to say, Akoni. I mean, it's a real privilege having you on here.
No, thanks, man.
Doing those.
I'm stoked to still be around.
Yeah.
So we're stoked you're still around.
I've got one last viewer question. I'm going to hold it up to the screen, and hopefully, if I hold my mic in front of it, you should hear it as well. This is from Antonio Maciera in Portugal.
Hello. So, Akoni, so you are a big legend, man. Really. Of mountain boarding. So what do you think about mountain boarding today and the possibilities to grow? Keep rolling. Hello.
Hello. He always rolls back. I like the way he says hello and that. Hello.
What do I think about the possibilities of it to keep growing?
Yeah.
I think it's endless. It's got a lot more to grow, honestly, in my opinion. I think the guys now are at a really high level of riding. I think it's super impressive. Mm-hmm. But I think that, like I said before, I think bigger jumps with these same tricks that these dudes are doing. I mean, the only reason why I say that is because you kind of like we need to be compared to like mountain biking, BMX, snowboarding, You know what I mean? Like everybody, it's every sport just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's got a ton of room to grow. It's grown past. These guys are doing stuff that I sure as hell didn't think was doable. I
Yeah.
mean, probably, I've said this before, but one of my favorite tricks in the sport is Matt's one-footed double backflip. I'm just blown away by that trick. Like, I'm like, so let me get this straight. You're doing 2 flips and you're taking a foot out.
Cheeky.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I was pretty pumped when I saw Matt doing the double, but then when I saw the 1-footed, I was just like, that's sick, you know?
Mm.
So I mean, the riders are just their technical and their riding ability and their technical is through the roof. I mean, for us, we were trying to get equipment to get better and figure out what was rideable, you know, and that was like our generation, and then to figure out what we could do. And I feel like the young next generation of riders have just constantly gotten better and really picked up the ball and kept going.
Mm.
As far as where do I think it's going to go, I think long term, you're going to see an elite level of pro riders that are riding some pretty big shit. I mean, I'm going to say your small jump should be like 20 feet and your big jump should range up to 40.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think it's very doable. I mean, it's not easy, but it's also one. I mean, I would bet these dudes would do that now if they had the opportunity, you know, like, but we don't have the opportunities and the ability to ride full time and, you know, what if I get hurt? You know, I don't think that part is caught up enough for the riders to put themselves in these positions. Cause I know what it's like to, you know, go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to overshoot and undershoot stuff. So I totally understand, you know, there's a higher risk. So I think hopefully more support in the sport from companies, you know, more involvement. And then that would help with the riders, you know, giving your top pro riders an opportunity to make a living mountain boarding is where it should go. You know, I mean, I was super fortunate. Like I had great sponsors and I rode full time. I mean, I didn't get rich, trust me, that's why I'm here. But you know, I was able to pay my bills and train and ride every day. So for me, I was always about trying to push myself into bigger stuff and to figure out, you know, other ways of doing things.
Yeah, I think if a young person can get that sort of deal these days, and work within the boards, work within the board sports and get paid to do that. You know, if someone like David Razaka on the Heroes, you know, Matt, unfortunately, mate, I think you're starting to get a little bit old now. But some of the younger riders, he's still got the goods. Let's be honest, but.
You hear the shit, Matt? You hear the shit, Matt?
The guy's earning cheddar biscuits. I'm telling you, he's not. It's going to take a big contract to earn him out of what he currently does. I reckon
he's not even my favourite Brind anyway.
Good news. That one's younger.
and there's a third as well, so he's not even the second favourite for him.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Lord knows that there might even be a sister as well. Should we?
Should we not
get
go
further
there?
down the list.
My money's on the sister.
Listen, Slugs, have you got time
Yeah,
to
I've
do
got
a 10
10.
set?
Yeah, I'm going to do a 10 set and then I've got to shoot, man, unfortunately.
Okay.
Right,
No
so
worries.
I've got 10 questions, mate.
Right.
Don't think about them too much. Just throw out the first sort of answer that you think of, all right?
Yeah, smart.
Right, reg or goof?
Oh, regular.
Favorite centre or track, past or present?
Ah, North Shore of Oahu, Kahuku motocross track.
Hey.
There you go. Right, favorite rider?
Ah, gosh, that's a tough one.
It's a bitch.
I'm gonna have. I gotta go with Leon.
Good
Leon
shout.
Robbins.
Yeah.
Thank you. How many people have said Tom Kay so far?
Is it 3 or 4, I think?
3 or 4.
Well,
Good
who's
shout.
the oldest rider? Who's the oldest rider you've done?
Antonio is probably quite old. we're old. Scotty
really
Ledbetter.
Scotty Ledbetter's the
I'm
same
for-
age as us.
Yeah.
I'm 48, so there you go.
No, you're the oldest so far. Then I'm only 46. Only.
See? So what I say goes. I do
Right.
love Tom too, though. Don't get me wrong. But go on.
Freestyle or border cross?
Past or present?
Whatever you want.
Border cross.
Yeah. Park or free ride?
Free ride.
Yeah. Mountain or woodland?
Mountain with woods.
Front side or back side?
Both.
Like that answer. Flip or spin?
Which do I like better, or which am I better at?
Open
Both.
to interpretation.
I like flips. I love flips. Flips are my favorite, I think. And I was always better at flips and spins, but I could spin front and back. So I like them all technically. Anything. Here's my answer. Anything done smooth, clean with the grab, boned out, I like. Anything
Early
done
grab?
without a grab, all skip. No early grab. I did not say early grab.
Best border cross track?
Serbia. That's not even a question.
Yeah, we've had that one many a time now. There's a few people have said that one.
And we're going there this
Dude,
year. Oh,
Have you guys
2022.
have you guys ridden Serbia?
No,
No,
not
22.
Next year.
Bro, I just left there. All right. I'll leave it to you like this. They've been doing it for a long time. So when I finally got over there was 2 years ago? Anyways, when I left there, I said that anytime that Boba's got an event in Serbia, I will be there. And
Yeah.
Cody's right. It's an amazing track. And Cody sums it up perfectly. It's like an American border cross on the top with crazy high speed Brit English free ride on the bottom. Like it's a beautiful track. It's
Yeah,
rad.
it does look good. It really does look good. I'm done.
You're done.
All right.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll start to cut it off there if that's cool with you. Slogs has
Yeah.
got to go to work.
It's been an absolute pleasure, that's for
hasn't
sure.
it really has, Akoni.
Thank you.
I'd
Thank you guys.
love at some point for you to come back on because I could have chatted shit
Yeah.
for hours here. I really could. It's
Oh man, there's a lot of stories.
it's so hard to go to do an hour and a half. I've been in that seat before, and you walk away and you think, oh, I should have talked about this or that, or there's loads of stuff. So anyone that has been on, we're always up for people coming back on and talking
Yeah,
about
definitely.
other bits. But other than that,
Yeah, no, I'm always down. I mean, I love talking about the history of the sport, to be honest. Like, I've been fortunate. I was there for it. So like,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, like the whole time we were always going and doing stuff, I never stopped or thought about it, and I've gotten older. And some days I'll just be like, holy fuck. Yeah, I got to help be part of the growth, of a sport that I love. And it's amazing to think about. Like I feel like it's a rare opportunity to be able to say that you're at the beginning of something like this.
yeah,
As I mean, I love mountboarding. It's an amazing sport, and I was at the first contest, so I feel super blessed for that.
yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, for all of us to got onto it so early on and become so engrossed by the sport
Obsessed
it is
by the
joyous. It is.
But I would
joyous
like to point out though, mountboarding actually started in Hawaii. The Hawaiians had a sport that they used to lay tea leaves down the side of the mountain,
I've
and we'd ride
seen
these
this.
sleds down the mountains, and they
The
did it
big
laying
long
down and
ones.
standing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we did it laying down and standing up. So I always used to tease everybody. I'd be like, my ancestors were doing this shit, bro. Like, you're not the first one to ride down a mountain standing up on a board.
Oh, brilliant. Well,
Uh,
maybe we'll see you riding one of those soon.
Yeah, there was an opportunity. I never took it up. I wish I would have in retrospect. But yeah, That to me sounds scary.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it was a tea leaf track.
hopefully we'll see you over in the UK in the summer up at Trampin Tower.
That's the plan. That's the plan, to come over and hop in the van for at least 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I'm hoping, and to go tour around, and ideally be during some events or contests, at least where there's something, and go do the event for fun and go ride spots. Go mess around and ride.
Do it. Keep us posted. Send me a message. Send us a message when you got some dates planned, and we'll make sure that we can hook up and come and meet us en route and stuff like that. And if you're going to Serbia again, we'll definitely see you there in 22, because I am.
Dude, I'll be at every event.
It's a given
that I can make it to. I'll be at every event in Serbia that I can. Serbia is an amazing country, and the track is it's insane. It's awesome.
I'll look forward to shaking your hand and riding and shredding with you
definitely,
in 2022.
Do it.
Anything
now.
else? Anything else you want to say while you've got the airtime?
Who, me?
Yeah, this is your time.
I don't know. Shout out to all the boys that made this happen. In case all you fucking kids forgot where this shit came from: Jason Lee, Jolie, Leon Robbins, Austin Robbins, Dave Sansoni, Sarah White, Dave Starfighter, Devin Garland, Cody Stewart. Can't forget the president. Jesus Christ. By the way, if you ever interview him, you can ask him why I stopped mountain boarding. That's a funny story in itself. It's part of the reason why. He's part of the reason why. We made a bet. I lost. Yeah, no, man. Just a shout out to all the old riders. Small Dog, man. A lot of you kids, if you don't know who Small Dog is, look him up. Absolute fucking legend. He's not with us here anymore. Kirkman, Tom Kirkman. I mean, Jesus. See, you guys know all those guys. That's English. Just shout out to all the boys in the beginning. I mean, there's a lot more people. I didn't name them all. Tried to, but I didn't have enough time. Sorry.
Slugs, any last words from you?
Just thank you very much. Just really appreciate it. It's such a good storytelling. Just brilliant. It's amazing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, dude, you've done yourself, you've done us, and you've done the community proud tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Look, you best get back to your work. Get back to building some sprinters. Slogs, you need to go and paint some pallets blue.
Yeah, I don't need to paint pallets blue tonight. I've got to go count pasties tonight.
Got to go and count pasties tonight. Guys, we'll catch us on the next episode of The Dirt.
Thank you very much, guys. See you soon, man.
See you
later.
Bro.
Aloha.